Hi everyone, and welcome to MAT 133. This is your instructor, Dr. Liz Papelka Brown, and this is one of many videos that you'll have access to over the course of the term. And the purpose of this video is to walk you through the interactive reading assignments that you will do on using our interactive textbook called SmartBook. And there are a few different ways that you can get there, but my personal opinion, for what it's worth, is just to go through each module. So I got here by going to the Learning Modules tab. Week 1 is, Module 1. And so the two assignments I'm going to talk about are the ones that involve the actual reading, and those are the SmartBook reading assignments. And you can access them by just clicking directly on the link right here in the module. And then I'm going to click the arrow next to the Chapter 2 assignment. Click Begin. And it will give you a couple of different pieces of, or a couple of options, I should say, and some other pieces of information. So one thing, and the designers of the book, what they suggest you do is that you start off by actually reading the textbook. So I'll click on reading. I already started it. That's why it says continue. And you can see that they have highlighted what they believe are the most relevant pieces of information, and you can just read through the text by clicking the next button and getting to the next section of the reading. What is super important to keep in mind is that even though it's a quote-unquote smart book, it doesn't track you actually going through and reading each section the way that you're to assign your points. The way you're actually going to earn your points is by clicking on and answering those questions. So what is recommended according to the publishers is for you to go through, do the reading, and then go back and answer the questions. So I'm going to pretend for a second that I've done the reading and I had to take a break. So now I'm going to go back and do the questions. So instead of clicking that same reading button I clicked earlier, I'll go here to answer the questions. And again, mine says continue because I already started it. So I'm going to continue the questions. And this is an example of a question that you're going to get here in week 1. And they vary between some are multiple choice, some are matching, some are fill in the blank. And assuming you've already done the reading, you might feel really good about your answer to this question and you already know that answer. Let's say that you are not in that boat and you're like, oh man, I can't remember. So this is what's really great about the SmartBook. Instead of just getting the question wrong right away, or the potential you're going to get it wrong, you can click here to read about the concept. And it will take you to this directly to, which was actually pretty cool, right? The question was just about ordinal measurement, and bam, it takes you right here to ordinal measurement, and it gives you the relevant part of the text that relates to that question. So I've gone through, I've read the information, so I'm going to go back. I'm going to click back on the 2 questions. And I know because I just read that answer, because I just read that text, that there's no clear meaning to differences between the ranked values. And because I literally just read it word for word, this part, it will not submit your answer until you rate your confidence in that answer. So I should note that, I'm going to click high because I just read the answer word for word from the text, but your answer to your confidence level does not in any way impact your grade. So, don't get too stressed about which one should you choose, because that's not going to make a difference in your grade. But I am going to choose high just because I know it's correct. It's going to tell me I'm correct and take me to the next question. So let me show you kind of what happens if you don't get an answer correct. So I am going to, it says select all that apply. That's one thing that is really important, is for you to kind of pay attention to the directions. throughout the SmartBook because some are just multiple choice, but some do require you to select more than one answer. That is definitely something that I get a lot of questions about early on until people get used to it. So please make sure you're paying attention to those directions. And I am going to just pick, I'm going to say, I'm not 100% sure. So you can tell the way it's written here, I got it partially correct, but I left out one of the correct answers as well. And another thing that it does is direct you to read about the concept, so I can go back to reading about it again. So if you get the answer wrong, you want to make sure you pay attention to why your answer was incorrect. And this goes to the whole why they can't estimate 100% whether or not you're actually going to take the amount of time that's estimated. Because if you do get a lot of answers incorrect, those concepts are going to come back again, because the SmartBook assignment will not end until it's demonstrated that you understand all of the concepts in that reading. So for what it's worth, my advice is that I would probably check out the reading before I answer every question, just to make sure, because you're going to revisit this topic anyway. So I feel like it's always a better use of time to go through the reading and double check and make sure your answers are correct before you spend your time answering one incorrectly. And then you've got to go back and answer a later question about that concept anyway. So once you complete an assignment, this is how you know that you're finished with the SmartBook. It'll tell you that your progress is 100%. It'll give you a breakdown of your accuracy and then the concepts that you had the hardest time with. And you don't need to press anything else. The SmartBook assignment automatically saves, and you don't need to actually do an extra step. I will get access to that score. One thing that I do want to point out to you is that the recharge feature right here is something that allows you, like let's say you want to go back and study for the final exam, you can go back through and do the assignment again without messing up your 100% score that you got here. The other thing I wanted to make sure that's clear is that the grade won't populate into your grade book automatically in Brightspace. And that's because I actually have to go in and manually transfer grades from SmartBook into Brightspace. And I typically do that every Monday morning, since Sunday night is the deadline for those assignments to be turned in. So don't get stressed that you don't see the grade come up automatically, because it won't. And as long as you've got your progress here, and as long as you've got that shows that you got 100, then you are good to go on the SmartBook assignments. So thanks so much for your attention. If there is anything about this that is unclear or that you have more questions about, please feel free to reach out anytime. And I did think there is probably one more thing I'm going to show you really quickly. If you go back to assignments, because I know especially the first week, some people are kind of like, ooh, I just want to double check and make sure I did it right. So if you click on the assignment and it has the recharge, you know that you've done it. So in addition to showing that progress, also just know that if it automatically pops up on recharge, you know that, or you can be, I've never seen a glitch like this. I guess I don't want to say 100% sure, because I guess anything's possible, but I've never seen an issue with that where it says you're eligible to recharge and you haven't actually completed the assignment. Okay, so that's the last thing I've got about the interactive smart reading assignments at this time. And thanks so much for your attention. And again, let me know if you've got any questions.